The following is a special 50th anniversary presentation of the Cherry Hill Pine Barrens Chorus.
It seems to me I've heard that song before. It's from an old familiar score. I know it well, that melody, that melody. It's funny how a theme brings back a favorite dream. A dream that brought you so close to me. I know each word because I've heard that song before. The lyric says forevermore, forevermore's a memory. I can't forget that memory. Please have them play it again, and I'll remember just when I heard that lovely song before. Do-do-do. It seems to me I've heard that song before. It's from an old familiar score. I know it well, that melody, biddly-bum-ba-dee-dee. It's funny how a theme brings back a favorite dream. A dream that brought you so close to bum-ba-dee-bum-ba-dee-dee. I know each word because I've heard that song before. The lyric says forever.
By the light, of the silvery moon, how
It was the 1940s. O.N.C. Cash and Rupert Hall were basking in the success of their newfound Barbershop Harmony Society, now little more than a decade old. To the surprise of both men, an idea that had initially started out as a lark back in 1938 was gradually making its way all across the country. Already, some of the Society's first quartets had hit their stride as international barbershop harmony champions, including first champions, the Bartlesville Barflies.
by the silvery moon.
In the 30s, the late 30s and early 40s, the Society really was a pretty loose organization with chapters just popping up here and there. The two founders were nominally in charge, and they authorized the chartering of these chapters.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello,
It was here at the Walt Whitman Hotel on October 5th, 1949, that several members of what was then the Camden chapter decided to start a chapter in Gloucester County. Assisted by the Pennsgrove chapter, Charles Goss, Carol Fletcher, Milo Urian, and H.F. Hilborn petitioned for membership in Woodbury.
Down, 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 among the sheltering palms, oh honey, wait for me. Wait.
It was the 1950s, and a new chapter was getting underway. With help from the Woodbury Daily Times newspaper, local businessmen, and several area quartets, including the Balladeers from Ocean City, the new Woodbury chapter's public debut was a smashing success. A presentation by the Society's Mid-Atlantic District Secretary R. Harry Brown to newly installed President Charles Goss would officially proclaim the Woodbury chapter part of the Society for the Preservation and Encouragement of Barbershop Quartet Singing in America.
You might be wishing that I were with you.
sweet Adeline.
The Woodbury YMCA was the first of what would later become one of several chapter meeting locations, And over the next few years, under the direction of Howard Hurst Jr. and Hal Lisborg, the barbershop harmony sound would ring throughout the community. One prominent county and state political figure remembered a very special night.
I have written a letter to your chapter secretary, thanking him for the honor of membership you have so graciously conferred upon me.
The bells are ringing, ding dong, for me and my gal.
No doubt about it, barbershop harmony was popping up everywhere, even on Bridgeton radio station WSNJ. This weekly program, written and produced by the Woodbury, Pennsgrove, and Bridgeton chapters, was heard Sunday evenings at 5:45. Other Woodbury quartets, like the Softones and Gateway 4, participated in parades and numerous community events all over town. Barbershop harmony enthusiasts were treated to the Keystone 4, the Jerseymen, and others at Woodbury's first of several cavalcades of harmony. Ticket price? All of $1.20, tax included. It was during this time that the National Society, aware of the harmony explosion, acquired this former automotive executive's estate in Kenosha, Wisconsin. It was later dubbed Harmony Hall.
The organization, the national organization, was sort of blossoming, moving out in all directions. At that time, they also changed the name to the Society for the Preservation and Encouragement of Barbershop Quartet Singing in America. It was the propagation in the original letter that O.C. Cash wrote. It started to become very, very popular. Chapters were springing up in all kinds of places, all kinds of towns.
With a growing membership in the Camden County area, the Woodbury chapter relocated from its Gloucester County base to Audubon, and in 1955 officially became known as the Audubon chapter. Hal Lisborg continued briefly with the Audubon chorus and was then succeeded by area music teacher Nelson Musick. 2 years later, Musick handed the baton to professional colleague and friend Frank Darby. Practice sessions were at Audubon School Number 2.
As I recall, we didn't have any piano. Well, we weren't going to use a piano, but we didn't have any piano there, so we had to be able to read the music well enough. So it ended up being that usually the director had to go and sing all 4 parts and rehearse them in all 4 parts before they put it together.
You could say Darby was primed for teaching every part, thanks to his college quartet days with the 4 Statesmen.
Good afternoon. Time once again for the Westminster Hour. This afternoon, the Westminster Radio Workshop presents a barbershop quartet, the 4 Statesmen.
Oh, goodbye, my Coney Island baby. Farewell, my own true love, true love. I'm gonna go away and leave you. Never see you any, never want to see you any. I'm gonna sail upon that ferry boat, never to return again. Oh, goodbye, farewell, so long, forever. Goodbye, my Coney Island, goodbye, my Coney Island, goodbye, my Coney Island babe.
We did sing Strolling Through the Park one day, and our top tenor, who was a wonderful musician, great pianist, had a wonderful musical background, we found out that if he tried to whistle that refrain, that place where you have in the middle of Strolling Through the Park, he came out a fifth lower than everybody else. He couldn't, in spite of his wonderful ear, he couldn't hear whistling. So we had to change that to humming.
Darby, along with assistant director Milo Urian, built much goodwill, as well as the chapter's recognition. Donning red and black plaid tuxedo jackets and black trousers, the chorus regularly delighted audiences throughout the entire South Jersey region. Several quartets, including the Softones, the Gateway 4, the Lads and Dads, the Cloverleaf 4, the blend airs, and the Audubon airs were also instrumental in keeping four-part harmony in the public eye.
We'd often sing a chord and stop and go back and hit it again because we liked it. Now that's how far we've come with things.
Many, like Edmonds, felt the pulse of good things to come.
Milo, Urian, and some of those old fellas that were with the chapter still left their imprint in how things were carried on. And it was good because you could say, look how he approaches it. It was great.
The old songs,
It was the 60s and the celebration of the first annual International Harmony Week. The event thrust our hobby to center stage for all the world to hear. During this decade, the Society would ring in its 25th chord-busting anniversary, and director Ralph Barclay would take a thriving Audubon chorus into a new era. During the early years, efforts to keep four-part harmony in the headlines continued to pay off, with numerous benefit concerts and songfests. Barbershop memorabilia even got a front row seat at Lit Brothers department store in downtown Camden. Things were going well, but the Audubon chapter was feeling some growing pains and would soon relocate again, this time to nearby Cherry Hill. Adding to the chapter's swelling ranks were members of the faltering Medford Lakes chapter, organized in 1961, which had tried unsuccessfully to stay afloat.
I'm looking over a four-leaf clover that I overlooked before.
On October 9, 1964, a charter was granted by the Society, making the Cherry Hill chapter official. Initially, the chorus rehearsed here at the Cherry Hill Community Center. Word of the move was out, with quartetter and former Philadelphia Eagle Bosch Pritchard and friends, and these junior barbershop quartetters, reminding everyone that a new and improved chorus had come to town. Benefit performances featuring 1961 international champs, the Suntones, and others took center stage. Adding to the draw was local TV and radio personality Phil Sheridan, who would often lend his talents as master of ceremonies. The uniform of the day was a burgundy red tuxedo jacket with black trousers. A more muted red rose pattern replaced the flashier plaid version.
Second is rain, third is roses and bloom in the lane. Oh, there's no need explaining the one remains.
I'm gonna live till I die.
It was also 1964 when premier baritone of the ever-popular Eastern Airs Quartet, Bob Bone, arrived on the scene.
Bob was a very talented arranger, and virtually everything we sang were his arrangements. And he was kind of known as a maverick in the Society because he was arranging things that were kind of outside the umbrella of barbershop at the time.
He really challenged us because his quartet was so good and had such high-ranging tenors and leads. The lead and the tenor had such a range that nothing was impossible to them, and he challenged the chorus to do the same thing. His favorite expression was, "Take it up a half."
Bone had the respect of many, including Roger Blackburn, then directing the Philadelphia chapter.
I tended to like his arrangements, and although the Society thought they were kind of far out at the time, he was very progressive. And his quartet, of course, had voices that could sing things that no other quartets could do. He had two top tenors that were like sopranos and countertenors. So he would arrange these pieces that with terrific tags that nobody else could sing them.
Bone's celebrity, along with his many arrangements, generated a lot of excitement, boosted membership, and would pave the way for the chorus's marked improvement. Adding to the enthusiasm came the making of the chorus's first album, featuring many show tunes, as well as some standard barbershop harmony favorites. The recording took place on location at the chapter's rehearsal hall at the Cherry Hill Community Center. During these years, awards for Cherry Hill's own, as well as performances for past and present political figures, kept visibility high. While these and other popular quartets perpetuated the area's distinctive four-part harmony sound.
Oh, we like rock and pop. We'd rather barbershop. Give me that barbershop stuff. We like rock and pop. We'd rather barbershop. Sing it in that barbershop style. Turn your radio on.
Flower power was out. The 70s were in. Bob Bone had left, and new director Bob Pekulski would take an energized Cherry Hill Chorus to new heights with a new look and a new name.
It wasn't the Pine Barrens. It was the Cherry Hill Chorus, the Cherry Hill chapter. And when we decided to change uniforms, we had a pretty nondescript uniform. We decided to change uniforms, and we went with a green motif. And once we started with the green motif, then there was a contest to change the name of the chorus. And because of our locale, the nearness of the Pine Barrens, we decided to trade on that name. We matched everything, the name, the uniform, the color of the green uniform, and we became the Pine Barrens. B-A-R-O-N-S, so we could be regal but not royal.
Turn your radio on.
Public television's Take 12 provided the perfect opportunity for the Pine Barrens to strut their stuff. The program also provided a chance for host and fellow barbershopper Ted Bowman to chat with Pine Barren MC, quartetter, and former Philadelphia Eagle, Bosh Pritchard.
How does an ex-professional football player get interested in barbershop quartet singing?
Well, Ted, this started about 16 years ago. I was walking by a hotel downtown Philadelphia, and I saw a big sign, SPEBSQSA, and I didn't know what that stood for.
Right away you tried to pronounce it.
That's right, and it sounded like somebody said it was a singing organization, so I went up in the hotel and listened to them sing. I practiced that night, and I'd always enjoyed singing in high school and college. So I started and I joined, and I've been a member ever since. I started in the Philadelphia chapter, then about 7 or 8 years ago I joined the Cherry Hill chapter, the Pine Barrens, and have enjoyed almost every minute of it.
Pritchard is perhaps best remembered as being lead of the beloved comedy quartet, the Jersey Devils. Pekulski had a flair for public relations, showmanship, and what it took to win contests.
We went to district in, I think it was 1973 for the first time, and came in third. We came out of nowhere to third place. And the thing I remember about that was we beat Dundalk. They were fourth. And Dundalk had won the International in 1971. So they sat out 2 years, came back to district in 1973, and we beat them.
Cherry Hill's record was impressive, with multiple wins at the division level and several top 3 placements at district.
Let me tell you now that every street...
Topping off a grand decade for the district was a 1974 gold medal win for the Regents, with Cherry Hill's own Joe Mazzone. In addition to the Regents, other area quartets of note included 1976 district champs Sound Revival, the Exclusives, the Metronomes, Reflections, Harmony on the Half Shell, and the Jersey Devils. The Pine Barrens during the mid to late 70s would refine their singing with the help of directors Dave Barton, Joe Mazzone, Roger Blackburn, and Kirk Roos. Little did the Pine Barrens realize, but the hard work they had invested would soon pay off in big dividends.
Paddle wheels are turning, see the water turning now.
It was the 80s, and the Pine Barrens were on the ride of a lifetime. Despite numerous rehearsal hall changes, Nothing could stop the Big Green Singing Machine. Throughout the decade, they had continued their winning ways in both division and district competitions. Jubilation about a district win in 1980 and a subsequent trip to international the following summer was dampened by word that Kirk Roos was leaving.
He left us right after district, and then we decided it would be best, though, to bring him back and take us to international, which he did, and that's when we went and won our 5th place gold medal.
Oh, the chapter was really a tremendously cohesive group at that time. The camaraderie was unbelievable. Anybody would do anything for the chapter, for the chorus. Nothing that they asked for was too difficult or impossible to do.
We had 117 men on that stage, which was the largest this chorus has ever been. We got brand new costumes that year. As a matter of fact, people still laugh about the fact that the tailor went out to Detroit with us and was still sewing before we went on stage. We cut it that close.
We had paddle wheels a turning with a great big hand move, and started out and sang All Aboard for Dixieland, and then we segued into What a Wonderful Pal You Are through a connecting piece that had some street lamps that set the scene for twilight on the riverboat near the end of day. My heart is turning back, folks so far away. And then we sang a song about mother.
From Cherry Hill, New Jersey, representing the Mid-Atlantic District, under the direction of Kirk Roos, the Pine Barrens.
That's a side-wheeler, my homesickness healer. Just hear that steamer captain hurrah! Just hear him hurrah! Dixie, all aboard the boat for Dixie. Dixie, get your tickets here for Dixie. Here's those engines parade to start. Now the whistle's blowing, everybody's going down to Dixie. Send my mail to me in Dixie. Goodbye. Saying Dixie, all aboard for Dixie, Dixie, Swanee Shore. Here's the engines parade to start. Now the whistle's blowing, woo 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 woo, steaming down the line. So goodbye, so long, farewell forever. Oh boy, now feel the motor rocking. Oh joy to see the people talking. Hear the band playing. What's that whistle saying? For Dixieland, ooh, it's certainly grand. All aboard for Dixie right now. Right now. Twilight on the riverboat near the end of day.
The Pine Barrens had finally made their mark on the international stage. As a medalist chorus, the time was right to press another album. Quartets within the Pine Barren ranks multiplied, with Northeast Extension claiming a district title. Other quartets on the scene were Market Street Transfer, Hogan's Heroes, Harmony on the Half Shell, Crystal Ring, Regeneration, and Accolade. Former Pine Barren director and Philadelphia Orchestra trumpeter Roger Blackburn returned at one point to arrange and play Strike Up the Band for his longtime friend, Kirk Roos.
Well, at the time he gave me that arrangement, we were playing Dvorak's Eighth Symphony in the orchestra, I remember, and I had a lot of influence over hearing Dvorak harmonies when I wrote that trumpet part out. So there was a master composer in my brain that I was influenced by when I wrote those trumpet parts.
So hooked was Roger on mixing barbershop with brass that he did just that.
I had a tape recorder that I could record 4 different tracks, and I was able to record myself 4 times, as Patti Page had done in earlier years and made a quartet of herself. I decided to make a trumpet quartet doing barbershop arrangements.
Barbershop in brass continues to delight music lovers of all ages. Kirk Roos's departure left directors Dave Barton, Tom Sterling, Eric Jackson, Dick Taylor, Neil Plum, and Bill Wilkinson to help the Barons through often uncertain times.
I directed the chorus for probably 3 or 4 different times, maybe a total of 3 years altogether, really in between the other directors.
Shows with creative themes and arrangements, often from chapter members, would draw big audiences.
The show team would come up with a number that they wanted an arrangement for, and there were no published arrangements, so then I made the arrangements.
Some of Ray's work included Red Roses for a Blue Lady and Stout-Hearted Men. Credit for the creative genius behind many shows goes to Don Basic and Jim Evans.
The 1988 show was the first time Jim Evans and I actually collaborated on a show. We created a spaceship, and a 3-dimensional spaceship with blinking lights and smoke, a radio-controlled spaceship that flew over the orchestra pit, and we both got hooked, and we've been doing shows ever since.
In conversation, someone will hit an idea, and they'll say, let's try that, or he has some ideas, and I have some ideas, and we argue over which would be best for the show. And it's usually a compromise.
Every year they do a different thing. And just when you think they've hit the top, there's nothing crazier that they can do, they come up with something else.
The shows, the singing, and the fellowship would only get better.
Hurry up and take a seat, the show's about.
Another uniform change, the grand tradition of Cherry Hill shows, plus a little world travel, has all been part of the 90s. Kicking off the decade was a little reminiscing, along with a cake and some good fellowship to bring back memories of an international medal. Directors Bill Wilkinson and Jeff McKean led the Pine Barrens into the first years of this decade. Bill Oppenheim was soon to follow.
Bill Oppenheim had been an assistant director for Bryn Mawr for years and always wanted to give it a try as a head director himself. So it was a great fit for Cherry Hill to find him and bring him in as our head director.
Bill's contagious enthusiasm continues to energize the chorus both on and off the stage. Meanwhile, quartets continue to be a part of Pine Barren history. These and other fine groups are carrying forth a grand tradition of 4-part harmony throughout the community. During the 90s, the Pine Barrens have maintained a winning tradition as strong competitors at both division and district contests. Another part of tradition has been the notoriety of our annual shows. They continue to draw acclaim and amazement from thousands throughout the entire region.
The thing I remember about the chicken show was when Dom created a robot chicken, which he ran out the stage in between songs, and had it run around the stage by remote control. And on one of the shows, it kind of got away from him or whoever was operating it, ran the chicken right off the stage into the orchestra pit. So that broke the chicken, and in between shows, Tom had to run home and fix it so it would run for the next show.
The show was staged shortly before the Big Chicken Chorus went to international.
We gave them a whole costume to take home, and we sent them patterns and instructions on how everything was made, and they wore them to international the following year when they sang at international.
A special highlight of the 90s was a musical tour of Russia. While there, a combined chorus from the Penn State chapter and Cherry Hill captured an unexpected trophy.
They awarded us third place, which is amazing because we competed against the Magnitogorsk chorus, which had over 100 guys in it, and the Kaluga chorus, which also had over 100 guys in it. And here we are, 19 guys. They're singing in Russian, we're singing in English, but they thought we did such a good job, I guess they gave us third place, which we were very proud.
I must say that the Russians took to barbershop music very well, and also the song Georgia just seemed to set them off, since that's one of their countries.
Love songs and Valentine's Day are synonymous, and in recent years, Pine Barren quartets have fanned out to serenade unsuspecting sweethearts throughout the region.
As we sing, it becomes a very emotional thing. Without fail, the ladies usually cry because they're so involved and they're so overwhelmed that four guys dressed up in all these beautiful uniforms would take the time to come down and to their place of employment or their home and sing to them.
The Singing Valentine continues to be one of our most popular Pine Barren traditions. There's nothing like television to bring home the harmony message. For Quartet Rave Review, barbershop is always in style.
Barbershop is always in style, four-part harmony with a smile. Come along together, we'll sing and share the songs that we love. Boom, boom, sung in any style, always make me smile. They're all worthwhile. Sing a song of sunshine, of lullaby, clap your hands up, syncopation you can never do enough. Barbershop is always in style, four-part harmony with a smile. Come along together, we'll sing and share the songs that we love. Let's sing the songs we love.
All right, well, barbershop is always on style, certainly on style right now on NJN Public Television. Hope you enjoyed the...
Barbershop arrangements, especially those sung in the Pine Barren style, can be heard anytime on our special 50th anniversary commemorative CDs and tapes. A particularly poignant highlight of our 50th anniversary year was sharing the stage with international champions, the Harmonizers.
May the rain
From modest beginnings a half-century ago, the Pine Barrens have delighted thousands with the unique blend of barbershop harmony. Through the years, many directors have shaped and refined the distinctive Pine Barrens sound. And while shows, fashions, emblems, and even rehearsal halls may have changed through the decades, the vibrant spirit and enthusiasm we have shared between ourselves and others has not.
We have made the finest friends that you could find. We have so much fun together. We've gone on conventions together. We have partied together. We just travel together. We've just had a wonderful time with everyone. And I don't think you could find finer friends than barbershoppers.
I would say when you spend a lot of your time there, one night a week, every week of the year, we have rehearsal, and you perform on stage, and we compete together. When you go through that kind of a life together, you get pretty close, and they're your friends. And like I said, it's an advantage in barbershop. You have all kinds of different varied friends, you know, they're different ages and different backgrounds, and it's diverse. And I think that's what makes it a lot of fun.
As the mayor of Cherry Hill Township, it is my special privilege and honor to congratulate the Cherry Hill Pine Barrens Chorus on their 50th anniversary. New Jersey has always been rich in musical heritage, and the Pine Barrens Chorus adds to that tapestry. I congratulate the Pine Barrens Chorus, all of its members, everyone who has ever participated in the chorus, as we look forward to another 50 years, with the song in our hearts and the melodies ringing.